You thought you scored a great deal. A barely used phone, half the price, flawless screen. But the moment you turn it on, your stomach drops. The gallery is filled with hundreds of photos, your bedroom, your kitchen, your face while you slept, all taken from angles inside your house. You live alone. And these pictures, they weren't taken by you. Today we will talk about you buy a phone with hundreds of disturbing photos taken from your house. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The unexpected bargain. It started with what seemed like a great deal. An almost new smartphone listed for half the retail price on a local online marketplace. You've been looking to upgrade, and everything about this phone checked out. The seller had good reviews, claimed the phone was barely used, and even offered a discount if picked up the same day. When you met him, he seemed a bit rushed, nervous even, but you chalked it up to being a busy day. The device looked flawless, powered on smoothly, and wasn't locked. Happy with your purchase, you returned home, feeling like you'd gotten lucky. You planned to do a factory reset and customize it from scratch, but curiosity got the better of you. Before wiping it, you opened the gallery to see if there was anything worth keeping, maybe some music or apps. That's when you saw them, hundreds of photos, but not of strangers, not of the seller's life. Every image was from inside your house. 2. Discovering the photos. At first, confusion overwhelmed you. The photos were taken in various rooms of your home. Your bedroom, the hallway, the kitchen, even the attic door you rarely opened. Many were from angles impossible to achieve unless someone had been inside. Others were taken through windows, sometimes in broad daylight, sometimes at night. Some were grainy and dark, as though taken stealthily, while others were clear and deliberate. One photo in particular made your stomach drop. It showed you asleep in bed, the timestamp from 3 weeks ago. That meant someone had been inside your house while you were home. The implications crashed down on you like a wave. You had never sold or lost a phone. You had no security system installed. Whoever took these pictures had full access to your private life, and now you held the very device that documented their intrusion. 3. A timeline of intrusions. As you scrolled through the images, you began to piece together a timeline. The oldest photo dated back nearly 5 months. It was of your backyard, taken from behind your garden shed. Over the weeks, the intrusions became more brazen. First through the windows, then the patio door, and finally inside your rooms. There were subtle signs in the pictures you hadn't noticed in real life. A chair slightly moved, a door left ajar, a cabinet you'd been sure you closed. Every image had a timestamp, offering terrifying insight into the frequency and pattern of visits. Many pictures had been taken while you weren't home, but the ones that showed you showering behind, foggy glass, eating, working, were the most horrifying. You realized you'd been watched, systematically, and not just watched, studied. Whoever had this phone before you didn't just observe from afar. They were in your space, tracking you, leaving no trace behind. 4. Unexplainable angles. As you kept reviewing the gallery, something even stranger became apparent. The camera angles were often from impossible positions. One photo, for example, seemed to be taken from the ceiling corner above your bed. There was no shelf or ledge where a phone could have rested. Another showed your living room from what seemed like the inside of the TV stand. A few images bore a strange distortion, like they had been taken with a different lens or under unusual lighting. You tore apart your room looking for hidden devices. You found nothing, no cameras, no microphones, no holes in the walls. The fear intensified as you realized some of these photos were taken at times you were sure your windows were locked. The possibility emerged that your home had been entered without forced entry. maybe using a copy of your keys, or even worse, someone had lived inside unnoticed. Every shadow and creak in your house now felt sinister. 5. The people in the photos. It wasn't just your face that appeared in the images. As you examined each picture, you noticed strange figures lurking in the background. Some images caught the reflection of a person in mirrors, windows, or on polished surfaces. These weren't friends or family. You didn't recognize a single face. In one, a tall figure in a hoodie stood in the far hallway, barely illuminated by ambient light. Another showed a person's hand reaching toward your doorknob from outside. More chilling were the photos with red eyes in the dark, likely from the phone's flash, hinting at someone crouched, hidden behind furniture or curtains. These figures never appeared in the foreground. They always watched from the edges, like ghosts. But they were real. You blew up one photo and saw something you'll never forget. A grinning face behind your bedroom curtains, watching you read in bed. The thought that someone had been inside, while you were unaware, shattered any sense of safety. 6. Trying to trace the phone. Panicking, you attempted to trace where the phone had come from. You looked through the settings, metadata, and login history. Surprisingly, the device had been wiped and freshly set up days before it was listed. Yet the photos were stored in a hidden encrypted folder, not visible in the standard gallery. It required a file manager app to access it. The photos were embedded with GPS data that sometimes matched your location, and sometimes pointed elsewhere: abandoned warehouses, wooded areas, a motel 20 miles away. You attempted to contact the seller again, but the number was disconnected, and the marketplace account had vanished. You took the phone to a technician, who confirmed that it had once been jailbroken. Someone had manipulated the software to bypass normal restrictions. It became clear that this wasn't a normal case of a careless seller forgetting to delete personal data. This was deliberate. The phone was a message, or worse, a warning. 7. Calling the authorities, you contacted the police, heart racing. You showed them the photos, the phone, and the metadata. At first, they treated it like a potential stalking case, but their demeanor changed when they saw the volume and content of the images. An officer took your statement and the device, promising to open an investigation. Days turned into weeks with no updates. You called repeatedly, only to be told it was under review. Frustrated, you began checking for signs of further surveillance in your house. You changed your locks, installed cameras, and even slept elsewhere. Then came the chilling discovery. Your new outdoor camera caught someone in your backyard at 2:44 a.m., staring at your house. They never approached, never touched anything, just stood there, watching. You sent the footage to the authorities again. This time, they admitted something disturbing. This wasn't the first time someone had come forward with a phone like yours. Other victims existed, scattered across the region, each telling the same eerie story. 8. The final realization. Months passed. You thought the worst was behind you, but then you received a parcel, no return address. Inside was a second phone, identical model. No charger. It powered on instantly. The gallery, empty, except for one photo. It was of you, taken through your new window just 2 nights ago. You hadn't even seen anyone outside. This was no longer about the phone. It was something bigger, something methodical, organized, and deeply invasive. Perhaps it was a group, perhaps a single stalker, perhaps even an experiment or blackmail operation. You realized that buying the phone hadn't been random. It had been intentional. You had been chosen, or marked. The sense of being constantly watched never left. Every knock on the door, every notification ping, every glance in a mirror became a moment of panic. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.